Thanks for watching. Welcome to another special episode. I'm joined, I have the pleasure of being joined by Erick Boenisch, senior producer for NBA 2K. Thank you very much for taking the time to speak to me, and welcome to.
Yeah, of course, thank you so much. Hello, everyone.
Welcome to sunny London, which is remarkable.
It's amazing.
2K20. I've had a chance to play it a couple of times now. Love it. As I told you beforehand, though, I keep getting absolutely battered on it.
Yeah, it's okay.
You did a little speech earlier. We'll just jump straight in there. This is a game where we come out every year, and it's bigger and better on a macro and a micro level. One of the things you sort of said that really piqued my interest was about sweat beads, because water is notoriously hard to create in a virtual environment. And it seemed like there was a level of obsession there. Can you just go into what makes you dive into the detail of sweat?
I think the detail of sweat is important. Well, our graphics team is like obsessed with making it look, as lifelike, as human-like as possible. But really, most importantly, it shows the level of detail that the dev team goes into when they create these games. We labor hours and hours and weeks and days and months over sweat. But it is very cool because, we rework it every year, and this year is no different. You'll see players, it'll start to bead a little differently this year. You'll see it run a little differently based on their emotions and the direction the runs go. And just the reflectivity of it with the new lighting they've done in the game this year. The new lighting's breathtaking as well. It's just one of those things I hearken to because it really shows the passion for the team.
Is it so? If it moves when as they move, sort of, is there an element where it's almost like they would sweat more if you used sprint more? Is it that level of detail? Or?
Oh, there's definitely your exertion levels determine your sweat levels. So if you play a full quarter and you don't make any subs, in theory, those starters are going to be fairly sweaty going into second quarter. Not like hyper sweaty, but they're in that middle level. But if you go to start that second quarter, you meet a couple guys off the bench. They throw off their warm-ups because we have that in the game, right? Those guys are going to be completely, not sweating.
Yep.
So you're going to have some players that are like, I'm not sweating. You got a guy that's kind of sweating. You got profusely sweating guy. And it all is not based on their time on the court necessarily. It's based on their exertion on the court. Are you sprinting? Are you turboing with that guy a lot? Is he exerting a lot of energy? So that whole microsystem underneath the top level of the game is largely completely unimportant to the feature set this year, but it's wildly important to the authenticity and believability of what you're playing.
So let's step away from the niche subject, which I'm sure not that many people will be interested too much in sweat too much. What's your favourite improvement this year?
My favorite improvement this year is probably the WNBA mode. There's so many. This is totally not fair. We've been wanting to do the WNBA for many years now, and the ability to properly put it in the game this year is something the team is very proud of. It would have been really easy to just say, okay, we've added the WNBA. We put the females into the game. That's not at all what we did, but we did add all 12 teams. We scanned, just like the NBA players, 140 WNBA players, and we actually went out and captured 3,000 to 5,000 animations to, they're very specific to the WNBA game. And we wanted the game to look and feel and represent the sport of the WNBA as accurately as possible. And we just felt we would have been doing, all the women in the WNBA a disservice if we just, kind of put our basketball game AI and slack them in it, because it's a different sport. They're much more technical in the way they play, much more regimented, and we needed to capture that to make it a truly believable experience, and we invested a lot of time to make sure we did that.
Yeah, it does have an absolutely different feel. I had the pleasure of testing it. I think I dropped about 40 with Liz Cambage, which was pretty good for me, but
Nice.
I think is more a testament to her than my ability to play the game. This year, so you've got the season mode as well with it. Is that sort of a hint at what's coming? We're going to get a franchise mode, a MyGM mode for WNBA in the future?
You never know where we're going to head, but this year we wanted to give you something more to do than just play quick games with the WNBA. So there's a full WNBA season mode. You can be any teams you want. You can do trades. You can edit the players. You can just kind of, do whatever you want. Fully customizable there. Okay. So what is to come, we'll have to see.
Okay. Well, I suppose I'm getting a little bit ahead of it. We're waiting for 2K20 to drop, and I'm trying to...
We just got him in the game. Let's enjoy it.
I'll let you have a break on that one. We talked about classic teams as well before I hit record. Have you got a favourite franchise?
Well, I grew up in Los Angeles during the 80s, watching the Showtime games, going to those games in person, the Showtime Lakers. So the Lakers are definitely my favorite team, hands down.
And do you use the classic teams there a lot? Or
I do, absolutely. Those Magic Johnson teams, late 80s, early 90s, ton of fun, because you get, depending on which ones you pick, you get James Worthy in there, you get Kareem on the team. You get Michael Cooper out there shooting threes, and obviously playing with Magic, ton of fun.
So when you've got different eras of basketball teams, is there a different approach to how they work? So the game now is very much dominated by the three. This idea, the Morey ball, threes and layups, and the kind of modern teams are geared that way.
2-point shots or bad shots.
Yeah. So is there a different way of building those teams? Do you try and make it so the games focus on, like for example, the Shaq and Kobe Lakers? You would want to use Shaq as the inside dominant force.
Post dominance. Absolutely. I mean, so for us, we're all about authenticity in everything we do, not just sweat.
Not just sweat.
So for us, it's about making the players look and feel and play authentic to their styles. Some teams, like you said, maybe a post-dominated team. Obviously, the NBA has kind of migrated away from that and, has gone the metrics route and says threes are the best shot. You'll see corner threes all day from a lot of teams. Or the Rockets just only shoot them. Layups and threes, Morey ball. But for us, we can't just throw in a team from the 80s and be like, okay, you're going to bomb threes all day, when those guys just didn't take a lot of threes. So for us, it's about employing offensive strategies and putting them in there. It's really fun, actually, when you play with a modern-day team against a classic team, because it's the two generations just clash, right? And watching how the game plays out is really cool, because you can really see the AI trying to pick each other's team apart, and it's really fun to watch. Even if you just set it to CPU, like, it's fascinating, for me at least.
One of the things you mentioned when you gave the speech earlier was how a lot of the improvements are driven by player feedback, as in us playing the game, and not the NBA players.
Right.
So that's obviously of huge importance to you, and you've looked at things like how to change the my player, how to upgrade your my player. I love the idea of the 95 to 99
yes,
section.
The skill gap.
Can you just go a bit more in a bit more detail into that, if that's possible?
Just recover for people. Like dynamic progression this year is significantly quicker in my career. On previous years, it would take hundreds and hundreds of hours to get to 99 overall. This year, it's like an order of magnitude faster. You can get to 95 incredibly quick, or at least I should say much quicker than last year.
Right.
And that's the highest you can go for upgrading your guy, with attribute upgrades, which is kind of cool. If you want to get to 99, that's actually done by how you play on the court, whether that be in neighborhood games or neighborhood events, whether that be in your NBA career with your NBA team. So you have to earn 96, 97, 98, 99. And you can actually lose rating points. You can go back down to 95. You won't go below 95. But you can work your way back down if you start to not play well, or if you get traded to a different team and you're not really fitting in, you're not getting the minutes. So anybody you see as a 99 when you're playing the game or when you see them out in the neighborhood, like, you have to know they not only spent time to get to 95, but also they have the skill to exceed that above and beyond.
When we were in LA the other week, one of the things you mentioned was 18-hour days to get this game over the line at times. And when I spoke to Mike Wang about it, he was saying that even though you spend all that time playing, when you step away, you still pick up the sticks and you still play as a fan. Is that the same for you?
Absolutely. Like for us, honestly, there's like over 100 of me at the office. Like, there's just passionate people. This is what we love to do. My brain's constantly thinking about it. Personally, when I'm at work, I'm just focusing on this, at a task at hand, getting this game done, working on this feature. And then when I go home, even on the drive home, my brain's just thinking about, what can I do next? What am I doing tomorrow? And as soon as I get home, I actually want to play the game some more. Like, that's a good time to just play without distraction and, really figure out where we need to move to next. And a lot of people do that, and it's just, for us, it's a labor of love, honestly.
So are you playing the same version that we get to play, or are you playing like a behind-the-scenes demo that sort of...
Not so much a demo, more of an in-progress development build.
Okay.
Because, the game changes. Every day, wouldn't even be fair, it changes every 5 minutes. Every 1 minute, the game is, somebody's checking in something that changes the game. So no matter when you pick it up and play it every day, it's like a different game. And that's also very exciting as a fan.
Yeah, no, I imagine. That's pretty cool to be able to do that. So growing up in LA, you were a Lakers fan in the 80s. At what point did your passion for basketball and tech merge?
Very early. I was raised as an athlete. My mom put me in every sport imaginable, except for American football. She was just like, no, stick to the soccer / proper football. Baseball, basketball, and I love the sport of basketball. I'm just lanky, tall, so it really helped me. But I also love video games. Like, they gave me a Commodore 64 when I was 4 years old, and I just entered the computer world, and I was playing games on there. And those are my two interests in life, even still to today. So to be able to mesh them together and make a basketball video game was like a life dream for me. And to say that I've achieved it is awesome. And that's another thing. There's so many people at work that just have the same passion. They grew up as athletes who love games, And I think you can really see that in our game with the level of detail, level of passion, and just the overall quality of the game. It's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, I'm fortunate enough to have played it a couple of times now. It is great. There's clearly a lot of effort and work that's gone into it. How is there an ability to tune out? Because as with all things in this day and age, there's when things get online in the social environment, there's negativity. So last year there was things about grind to get your player.
Sure.
Can you tune out of that? And obviously feedback is important. Yeah, I mean is it like a thing where you stay away from social media because you just like, I'm concentrating on the game, we are putting the effort in, we don't necessarily...
Oh, no, I don't. I'm one of those people, I don't really get offended by anything. Like, anytime people have a comment or a complaint about the game, like, I think it's coming from a personal experience, and it's my duty to listen to them and try and understand where they're coming from. They don't do it because they hate the game. Like, I generally feel that our game is so good in so many caveats, or so many areas that, there's something for everyone. I know the people who play our game love the game, and if they have a complaint or a gripe, like, we want to listen to it, be honest with it and see if it's something that we want to change or address for the next year. So I never avoid social media. Like, I love it.
Cool.
Even if there's negativity, it's just people who love the game so much that they want this one thing different. And like, that's awesome. Like, I love that guy. That's fantastic.
It all comes from a place of frustration because they're passionate.
Absolutely. Like, that's what it is. And you want to listen to that because, like I said, this is not my game. This is not our game. This is the fans' game. This is your game. And so we want to take that feedback and turn it to a positive every time.
Awesome. I guess one final thing before you go then is just sort of the game launches next
Friday.
Next Friday. Oh yeah, getting my days mixed up. So the 6th of September. What should fans look out for on the day it drops?
Oh man. So what I would do if I was a fan who's going to buy the game, I would just like take the day off. Like, if you go to school, absolutely go to school. But if you have a job, maybe like maybe you could take like a vacation day or like be a little sick or something. Maybe don't do that part. But honestly, what you can expect is just to have a good time. It's going to be a really fun experience. Like, every mode, no matter what you play, whether it's my GM, my league, whether it's the neighborhood, whether it's my career, whether it's Pro-Am, whether it's the rec, whether it's play now online, it's new. Everything's new in the game this year. So you can expect a fun experience, an engaging experience, and one heck of a weekend, to be honest.
Amazing. Well, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
If you haven't already, you can go download the demo now and get your pre-orders in, because there's some cool little bits extra you get depending on what package you pre-order.
Those will be gone after the game launches too.
Exactly.
So now or never.
Now. But yes, thank you very much. See you soon.